Mazda dealers never tell you this. One of their vehicles will strand you roadside within 4 years. Another will hit 400,000 miles on nothing but oil changes. I have rebuilt every engine on this list. I know which ones beg for mercy and which ones are mechanical legends. 25 vehicles. One honest ranking. Your wallet depends on getting this right. Let's get into it. Number 25. The 2002 to 2006 Mazda MPV. Mazda tried to compete with the Honda Odyssey and failed spectacularly. The MPV used a 2.5-liter V6 that overheated constantly because the coolant passages in the block were poorly designed. The transmission torque converter failed routinely before 100,000 miles. Parts availability is a nightmare today. Avoid it completely. That MPV will drain you dry, but the next engine does something far more expensive. It destroys itself from the inside. Number 24. The 2003 to 2008 Mazda RX-8. This car destroyed more wallets than any vehicle Mazda ever produced. The rotary engine is brilliant engineering trapped inside a catastrophic ownership nightmare. The 13 BMSP Renesis engine produces high revving excitement for approximately 80,000 miles before the apex seals fail. When those seals go, the engine floods with oil, loses compression, and refuses to start on cold mornings. Meet Carlos. Carlos bought a 2005 RX-8 because it looked exotic and cost $4,000. He ignored every warning. 6 months later, the engine flooded permanently during a cold January morning. A rotary rebuild cost between $3,000 and $5,000 at a specialist shop. Carlos paid more in repairs than the purchase price. The engineering flaw is fundamental. The apex seals ride against the rotor housing constantly. Unlike a piston engine where rings float on oil films, the apex seals scrub the housing surface dry at high temperatures. Mazda instructed owners to add a small amount of oil directly into the fuel every few thousand miles to lubricate the seals. Most owners never knew this. The seals starved and died. The only reason anyone should consider this car is the chassis. The 50-50 weight distribution and rear-wheel drive create handling that shames cars costing 5 times as much. If you rebuild the engine with upgraded apex seals and commit to proper warm-up procedures, it rewards you, but it demands expertise. For average owners, this is the worst financial decision on the entire list. Mechanics spend fortunes keeping rotary engines alive. Hit the like button and subscribe so we can show you which Mazda runs forever without touching the engine. The rotary kills wallets, but number 23 proves that even a reliable engine cannot save a car built by the wrong company. Number 23. The 2009 to 2012 Mazda Tribute. This was a rebadged Ford Escape built during Mazda's partnership with Ford. The 2.5-liter Duratec engine is reasonably reliable, but the Tribute suffers from every electrical gremlin that plagued mid-era Ford products. The blend door actuator inside the climate control system fails constantly, leaving you with heat blasting from one vent and cold air from another. The four-wheel drive transfer case seals leak. Cheap out and buy a Mazda that was actually engineered by Mazda. A borrowed platform betrays you. But number 22 shows what happens when Mazda builds their own car and still gets the details completely wrong. Number 22. The 2006 to 2010 Mazda 5. The Mazda 5 minivan used the 2.3-liter engine paired with a 5-speed automatic. The engine itself is solid, but the sliding rear doors develop electrical failures in the door track motors. The third-row seating folds awkwardly and the floor anchors crack. By 120,000 miles, the power sliding door simply stops working. It becomes a manual door that costs $400 to fix correctly. Decent engine, terrible execution everywhere else. Sliding doors hide the real danger. Number 21 has a ticking time bomb sitting inside the engine that most owners never see coming. Number 21. The 2003 to 2008 Mazda 656. The 3-liter V6 version of the Mazda 6 developed timing chain tensioner failures that allowed the chain to slap against the engine cover at startup. Left unaddressed, the chain jumped teeth and bent valves. The repair destroyed the value proposition entirely. The 4-cylinder version is far superior. If you see a V6 Mazda 6 with over 150,000 miles and no timing chain service records, walk away immediately. A snapping chain ends engines. But number 20 proves that even Mazda's newest technology shipped with a quiet flaw nobody talked about. Number 20. The 2013 to 2016 Mazda CX-5 2.0. The base engine CX-5 from this generation suffers from one persistent problem. The 2-liter Skyactiv engine developed excessive oil consumption in early production runs. Owners reported adding a quart every 1,500 miles. Mazda quietly updated the piston rings in later production, but early models never received an official fix. Always pull the dipstick on these specific years and look for low oil before any other inspection. Oil disappears silently. Number 19 shows what happens when rust and coolant coolant team up to destroy a car from two directions simultaneously. Number 19. The 2001 to 2003 Mazda Protege 5. The sport wagon version of the Protege used a 2.0-liter engine that developed head gasket failures when owners ignored coolant changes. The coolant became acidic and attacked the aluminum head. The 5-door wagon body also developed severe rust along the rear wheel arches in northern states. Southern examples survive beautifully. Northern examples turn into rust sculptures within a decade. Rust attacks from outside. Number 18 rots from underneath, and most buyers only discover it after the highway nearly swallows them. Number 18. The 2003 to 2005 Mazda 6 first generation. The first Mazda 6 represented genuine ambition. The 2.3-liter four-cylinder engine was willing and responsive. However, this generation suffered from premature rear suspension bushing wear. The rear multi-link suspension used small rubber bushings that deteriorated by 80,000 miles, causing the rear end to feel loose and unpredictable during lane changes. Replacement corrects the handling completely, but most sellers never disclose the issue. Always push firmly on the rear bumper during inspection. If the car rocks more than twice before settling, the bushings are gone. Loose suspension lies during test drives. Number 17 demands premium fuel and punishes every owner who ignores that warning. Number 17, the 2016 to 2018 Mazda CX-9 second generation. The turbocharged 2.5-liter Skyactiv-T engine produces adequate power but demands premium fuel for proper performance. Owners who regularly use regular-grade fuel suffer from carbon buildup on the intake valves because the direct injection system cannot wash the valves with fuel. By 60,000 miles, rough idle and hesitation under load indicate heavy carbon deposits. A walnut shell blasting service cleans the valves but costs between $300 and $500. Budget for this service every 60,000 miles. Carbon chokes modern engines, but number 16 proves a turbocharger can destroy itself even faster when one simple habit is ignored. Number 16. The 2007 to 2012 Mazda CX-7. The turbocharged 2.3-liter NMZR engine in the CX-7 had one catastrophic weakness. The turbocharger bearings failed prematurely when owners did not change the oil every 5,000 miles without exception. A turbocharged engine circulates extremely hot oil through the turbo center section. Degraded oil cooked the bearings and destroyed the turbocharger. Replacement turbos cost between $800 and $1,200 installed. Find a CX-7 with complete oil change records, or find a different car. Turbos die without discipline. Number 15 runs reliably but hides an electrical fault that triggers panic during every single stop. Number 15. The 2014 to 2018 Mazda 3 Skyactiv. The Skyactiv-G 2.0 and 2.5 engines solved the oil consumption issues of earlier models. However, this generation Mazda 3 developed a specific electrical fault in the brake light switch that triggered false ABS activations. Owners experienced sudden, unexplained ABS pulses during normal braking on dry pavement. Mazda issued a technical service bulletin but never a formal recall. The switch costs $12 and takes 20 minutes to replace. Inspect the brake lights by having someone stand behind the car while you apply gradual pressure to the pedal. Brakes that lie are dangerous. Number 14 is honest and dependable, but brutally exposes one decision Mazda should never have made. Number 14. The 2015 to 2018 Mazda CX-3. The small CX-3 crossover uses a 2-liter Skyactiv engine that runs reliably. The problem is proportional. Mazda fitted a small crossover body on a Mazda 2 platform. The rear seat is genuinely unusable for adults over 5 feet 8 inches tall. The cargo area holds approximately the same volume as a large backpack. If you're buying this as a single-occupant commuter vehicle, the engine will serve you honestly. If you need to carry anything beyond a laptop bag, it will disappoint you every single day. Size betrays daily drivers. Number 13 fixes the engine problems but introduces a frustration that attacks your sanity every single morning. Number 13. The 2012 to 2018 Mazda CX-5 2.5. The 2.5-liter version of this generation resolves the oil consumption concerns from the base engine. The naturally aspirated Skyactiv-G runs cleanly and produces enough torque for comfortable highway merging. Fuel economy consistently reaches 30 miles per gallon on the highway. The weak point involves the infotainment system. Early MZD Connect systems use a processor that becomes extremely sluggish within 5 years. The navigation freezes mid-route. The radio takes 45 seconds to respond after startup. It does not affect reliability, but it affects sanity. Budget for an aftermarket head unit installation. Frozen screens waste time. Number 12 hides a structural crack that grows silently until the suspension collapses without warning. Number 12. The 2004 to 2009 Mazda 3. The first generation Mazda 3 used the same 2.3-liter MZR4 cylinder engine shared across multiple Ford and Mazda platforms. It responds well to maintenance and tolerates modest neglect. However, the front strut towers on high-mileage examples developed hairline cracks in rust-prone climates. The crack propagates from the strut tower base outward across the shock tower. A cracked strut tower is a structural failure requiring expensive repair. Inspect the engine bay corners thoroughly on northern examples. Any surface rust around the strut tower base deserves extreme scrutiny before purchase. Cracking towers are dangerous. Number 11 solves the big problems but buries one annoying fault deep inside the front bumper. Number 11. The 2009 to 2013 Mazda 6 second generation. This generation, Mazda 6 used the 2.5-liter MZR engine and represented a significant reliability improvement over early models. The rear suspension bushing problems were corrected. The transmission proved durable. The one persistent complaint involves the active front grille shutters. These aerodynamic flaps close at highway speeds to improve fuel economy. The actuator motor fails and causes a check engine light. Replacement requires removing the front bumper cover. It is a $300 repair that frustrates owners who cannot diagnose the specific cause of the warning light. Grille shutters trigger false alarms. Number 10 is the most sophisticated Mazda ever built for the money, but sophistication has a maintenance price. Number 10. The 2019 to 2023 Mazda 3 Turbo. The turbocharged Skyactiv X and Skyactiv G turbo variants of the modern Mazda 3 introduced a level of refinement that genuinely shocked automotive journalists. The cabin noise levels rival cars, costing 3 times as much. The 2.5 turbo produces 250 horsepower and pulls smoothly across the entire RPM range, but the carbon deposit issue returns aggressively with direct injection under boost pressure. Owners running short city trips accumulate deposits quickly. Every 6,000 miles, take the car onto a highway and drive it hard for 15 minutes. High-speed, wide-open throttle operation burns the carbon deposits off naturally. The Mazda 3 Turbo also introduced a standard specification torque vectoring system that distributes power individually to each front wheel during cornering. The system works silently and invisibly to prevent understeer. The engineering sophistication packed into this price bracket is genuinely remarkable. If this breakdown is saving you money, smash the like button, leave a comment telling us which Mazda you own, and subscribe before the next video drops. Turbos reward discipline. Number 9 strips everything back to pure mechanical simplicity until one electric motor locks the roof permanently. Number 9. The 2007 to 2015 Mazda MX-5 Miata NC generation. The NC Miata used the 2.0-liter MZR engine producing 166 horsepower. It is lighter than a modern pickup truck door. The engine breathes naturally and never develops the carbon issues of direct injection competitors. The weak point of this generation is the power retractable hardtop mechanism on PRHT models. The folding hardtop uses a sequence of electric motors and hydraulic rams. When one motor fails, the entire roof locks in a partially open position. Repair requires specialized diagnostic software to identify the specific failed motor. Confirm the roof cycles completely open and closed 3 consecutive times before any purchase. Hardtop mechanisms betray owners. Number 8 eliminates that complexity entirely and builds something almost impossible to break. Number 8. The 2016 to present Mazda MX-5 Miata ND generation. The 4th generation Miata represents the purest expression of Mazda's philosophy. The 1.5 and 2-liter Skyactiv G engines use port fuel injection, eliminating carbon deposit concerns entirely. The chassis weighs under 2,400 pounds. This weight reduction means the engine works at minimal stress even during spirited driving. Oil temperature stays controlled. Internal bearing wear is minimal. Meet Sandra. Sandra bought a 2017 MX-5 Sport for $19,000 used. She drives canyon roads every weekend and commutes 60 miles daily. Her odometer passed 190,000 miles. She has replaced the clutch once and the tires 4 times. The engine has never been opened. The ND platform uses a front mid-engine layout, positioning the engine behind the front axle center line. This geometry creates near-perfect 50-50 weight distribution. The suspension uses racing-derived geometry with precise bush rates tuned to maintain tire contact during mid-corner bumps. You feel every road input honestly, without the artificial filtering that dulls modern crossovers. It is the most mechanically honest vehicle Mazda builds today. Modern simplicity wins, but number 7 proves the older generation had a mechanical purity that modern engineers are still trying to replicate. Number 7. The 2001 to 2005 Mazda Miata NB generation. The NB Miata used the 1.8-liter BP engine, one of the smoothest naturally aspirated 4 cylinders ever produced in this displacement class. The engine revs freely to 7,000 revolutions per minute without strain. Head gaskets last indefinitely with proper coolant maintenance. The manual gearbox has a mechanical precision that modern transmission engineers have forgotten how to replicate. The shifter snaps between gates with a metallic click that communicates exactly what the gearbox is doing. The only meaningful weakness involves the rear main seal. At high mileage, the crankshaft rear seal seeps oil onto the clutch disc. The leak starts small and owners ignore it. Contaminated clutch discs slip under hard acceleration. The repair requires removing the transmission to access the seal. It is a $400 job that owners delay until the clutch glazes completely. Inspect the bell housing area beneath the car for oil staining before any purchase. A weeping seal hides underneath. Number 6 fixes every legacy flaw and delivers something Mazda had never truly built before genuine premium quality. Number 6, the 2020 to present Mazda CX-30. The CX-30 represents Mazda's maturation as a premium brand. The 2.5-liter naturally aspirated Skyactiv G engine achieves fuel economy ratings that match smaller displacement competitors while producing a relaxed, stress-free power delivery. The platform architecture uses ring-shaped reinforcement structures inside the body pillars, distributing crash energy away from the occupant compartment with engineering efficiency that earned top safety ratings across every major testing organization. The interior abandons the budget materials that defined Mazda's earlier decade. The center console uses genuine stitched leather. The instrument cluster features an analog tachometer flanked by a high-resolution digital display. Mazda positioned physical controls for climate and audio below the central screen, allowing drivers to operate functions by muscle memory without looking away from the road. It is a deliberate rejection of the touchscreen. Everything philosophy destroying usability in modern vehicles. Premium materials raise the standard. Number 5 quietly built the most underrated family sedan of its entire decade, and almost nobody noticed. Number 5, the 2014 to 2018 Mazda 6 third generation. The third generation Mazda 6 used the naturally aspirated 2.5-liter Skyactiv G engine and became one of the most underrated family sedans of its decade. Competitors sold on brand recognition alone. The Mazda 6 quietly delivered superior handling dynamics, a quieter cabin, and a more sophisticated interior for less money. The Skyactiv G engine in this application uses a 14:1 compression ratio, the highest naturally aspirated compression ratio in mainstream production at the time. High compression extracts more energy from each combustion cycle, improving thermal efficiency without turbocharger complexity. The engine runs on regular fuel despite the extreme compression because Mazda engineered precise combustion chamber geometry that prevents pre-ignition naturally. A sales manager proves sedans last. Number 4 takes everything the sedan achieved and moves it into a platform the whole family can use. Number 4, the 2021 to present Mazda CX-5 second generation refresh. The refreshed CX-5 resolved every criticism of the original. The naturally aspirated 2.5 produces 187 horsepower. The turbocharged variant produces 250. Both engines use port injection on the naturally aspirated version. The turbo uses a combined port and direct injection system that reduces carbon deposits significantly compared to single direct injection competitors. The cabin sound deadening uses acoustic glass and multi-layer door seals borrowed from Mazda's premium CX-9. Wind noise at highway speeds is genuinely absent. The suspension tune absorbs road irregularities with a composure that embarrasses crossovers costing $20,000 more. Mazda engineered the damper valving to resist body roll during cornering without sacrificing ride comfort over broken pavement. The balance is exceptional and requires no electronic intervention to achieve. The crossover formula matures. Number 3 scales it up to 3 rows and somehow makes it handle sharper than most sports cars on this list. Number 3, the 2019 to present Mazda CX-9 third generation. The CX-9 represents the pinnacle of what Mazda builds for families. The turbocharged 2.5-liter engine delivers power smoothly across the RPM range. The 3-row interior uses genuine leather, real wood trim, and Nappa leather upgrades on top specifications. The second-row captain chairs slide and recline independently, offering comfort that rivals business-class airline seating. Mazda engineers specifically calibrated the electric power steering to deliver road feel that most family crossover competitors filter entirely. The steering weights progressively as speed increases. At parking lot speeds, it is effortless. At highway speeds, it requires deliberate input and communicates road surface through the rim. This progressive weighting is calibrated manually, not electronically simulated. The turbocharged engine demands the same carbon maintenance discipline as the CX-9's smaller siblings. Use the Highway Blast carbon cleaning method every 6,000 miles. Keep the oil fresh. The reward is a 3-row family vehicle that handles with the composure of a sport sedan and the silence of a luxury express. 3 rows in sport sedan aerodynamics. Number 2 delivers a completely different kind of greatness, one that embarrassed European rivals, costing twice as much. Number 2, 2014 to 2018, Mazda 6 Skyactiv, the Mazda Speed. 3 used a turbocharged 2.3-liter MZR engine, producing 263 horsepower through the front wheels. It was absurdly fast, genuinely affordable, and extremely practical, but torque steer under hard acceleration attempted to rip the steering wheel from your hands. The front differential could not manage the power. Drive shafts failed on high-mileage examples, pushing upgraded power levels. This is number 2 because the stock drivetrain is a mechanical achievement. Modified examples become expensive liabilities. The engine internals are robust when fed clean oil and premium fuel consistently. The turbocharger is a ball-bearing unit that spins freely and responds instantly. The intercooler is mounted in the front bumper and breathes efficiently in stock form. Owners who respected the engineering and drove the car as designed enjoyed remarkable reliability. Those who chased power with cheap tuning files discovered why turbocharged front-wheel drive platforms have hard limits. The sedan proved naturally aspirated wins. Number 1 takes that exact philosophy, strips away everything unnecessary, and builds something the industry forgot how to make. Number 1, the 2016 to present Mazda MX-5 Miata RF. No vehicle on this list combines mechanical integrity, driver engagement, and ownership economy more completely than the MX-5 RF. The retractable fastback roof eliminates the folding mechanism complexity that plagued the NCPR HT generation. The ND platform roof uses a simpler powerglass rear window and a fixed rollover structure. When the mechanism closes, it creates a rigid, sealed cabin that eliminates wind noise completely. Meet Patricia. Patricia is a retired school teacher who bought a 2018 MX-5 RF Club Edition. She drives mountain roads 3 weekends a month and covers 30 miles of daily commuting. Her odometer reads 140,000 miles. The cars require 2 sets of tires, 1 set of brake pads, and 1 cabin air filter. The engine burns no oil between changes. The roof mechanism cycles without hesitation. The naturally aspirated 2-liter Skyactiv G engine produces 181 horsepower in a vehicle weighing 2,490 pounds. That power-to-weight ratio means the engine operates in the low-stress middle of its power band during spirited driving. It never approaches the thermal and mechanical limits that destroy turbocharged engines in heavy crossovers. The engine will deliver 250,000 miles of faithful service with nothing but oil changes and a timing chain inspection at 150,000 miles. The automotive market sells you complexity and calls it progress. Mazda builds one vehicle that strips every unnecessary system away and delivers the fundamental joy of mechanical transportation. Every other vehicle on this list serves a purpose. The MX-5 RF is the only one that makes ownership feel like a privilege rather than a financial obligation. The industry profits when you stay confused. Stay informed instead. The next video is already waiting. I will meet you there.